Have you been the nice guy with women and only end up being rejected? Do you strive to treat them well, give affection and attention, but only receive disdain and rejection? And on top of that, do you feel that the techniques you use seem to no longer work? Well, you're not alone. I've been through that, and I'm sure many of you have too. The issue is that there are powerful manipulation techniques that many scoundrels use to make women completely manipulated and submissive to them. There are techniques that activate women's primal instincts and drive them crazy in a way that they can help but feel obsessed with you. In this video, we will explore the 10 heaviest manipulation techniques that make women want to be submissive to you in less than 1 week. I will tell you in detail why and how you will do this. Just be very careful, because these are powerful, scientifically proven techniques. And if you're tired of being rejected, replaced by another, and left last, this video is for you. I recommend that you carefully keep this content and use it whenever you need to win over a new woman with these 10 powerful and infallible techniques. Before we dive into the content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you can see more videos like this in the future. Let's get started. Technique 1. Mystery and uncertainty. Mystery and uncertainty are seduction techniques that involve leaving some things unsaid or partially revealed, creating a sense of curiosity and desire for more information. By maintaining an air of mystery, you spark her interest and imagination, making her want to discover more about you. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are on a date, and instead of sharing all the details about your life, you vaguely mention some exciting adventures or unique experiences without going into too many details. For example, you might say you spent some time traveling the world and had some unforgettable experiences, but don't specify exactly what happened or where you were. For example, during a conversation in a cafe, you might mention that you had an interesting encounter with a famous person or participated in an exclusive event, but leave the details open, saying something like, "Oh, that's a story for another day." This type of comment leaves her intrigued, making her think about you even after the date is over. Another example could be at a party, where you demonstrate an unexpected talent, like playing a musical instrument or fluently speaking a foreign language. But you don't explain how or why you developed this skill, leaving her wondering more about your life and experiences. By creating an air of mystery and uncertainty, you keep the interaction dynamic and exciting, avoiding it from becoming predictable or boring. This technique also helps build an image of depth and complexity, suggesting that there is much more to you than meets the eye. The mystery fuels her imagination and keeps her interested, always wanting to discover more about you. This not only increases attraction, but also creates a deeper emotional connection, as she feels increasingly involved and curious about who you really are. Technique 2. Standing out from others. Standing out from others is a powerful seduction technique that involves differentiating yourself from all other men she may know, creating a lasting and unique impression. This can be achieved through distinctive behaviors, interests, or characteristics that make you appear incomparable and memorable. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are at a party, and there are several men competing for the attention of the women present. While most of them are making generic comments and using common approaches, you choose a different path. You notice that the woman you are interested in has a particular taste for alternative music. Instead of starting the conversation with the usual compliments, you mention a little-known band that she loves, showing that you have something in common and that you pay attention to details. For example, during a conversation, instead of talking about generic topics like sports or the weather, you share a unique personal experience, such as an exotic trip you took or an unusual hobby you practice, like rock climbing or wildlife photography. This not only sparks her interest, but also makes her remember you as someone interesting and different. Another example could be at work. While everyone is focused on routine tasks, you take the initiative to lead an innovative project or suggest creative ideas during a meeting, demonstrating your ability to think outside the box and your willingness to go beyond. This technique creates an aura of mystery and intrigue, as she begins to realize that you are not just another face in the crowd. You become the man who brought something new and exciting to her life, which can be extremely seductive. Standing out from others does not mean being artificially different, but authentically unique, showing that you have qualities and interests that most do not possess, which significantly increases your attractiveness and the likelihood of creating a deep and lasting connection. Technique 3. Intermittent validation. The technique of intermittent validation involves offering compliments and recognition sporadically instead of constantly. This creates an environment of uncertainty and keeps the person wanting more validation, which can increase attraction and interest. By alternating between moments of intense attention and periods of relative indifference, you awaken a sense of seeking and striving for approval. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are in a relationship where, from time to time, you praise your partner for something specific, like her style of dressing or a work achievement. At other times, you maintain a more neutral and reserved attitude. For example, during a casual outing, you might notice that she is wearing a new dress and comment, "You look amazing in that dress. You really know how to choose your clothes." On other occasions, you don't make any comments about her appearance, even if she is expecting it. This oscillation between validation and neutrality makes her constantly seek your approval and try to gain your attention. Another example is during a conversation where she shares something important about her life or project she's working on. Sometimes you react with great enthusiasm and recognition, saying something like, "That's fantastic. I'm very impressed with how much effort you've put in." In other conversations, you respond more casually, without giving much emphasis to the validation. This behavior creates a cycle of expectation and reward that can increase her emotional dependency on you, as she never knows when she will receive this positive validation again. This technique of intermittent validation is powerful because it plays on the human need for approval and recognition, keeping the other person emotionally invested in the relationship. By dosing compliments and attention, you create a high perceived value dynamic where your moments of validation become more significant and desired. This approach not only intensifies attraction, but also maintains interest and emotional connection over time, creating a relationship foundation where she feels continuously motivated to earn your validation and approval. Technique 4. Emotional control. Emotional control is a powerful technique that involves manipulating a woman's emotions to keep her interested and dependent. This method is based on creating an emotional roller coaster, alternating between moments of extreme attention and affection and periods of coldness and distance. Imagine an everyday scenario. You're getting to know a woman and initially show a lot of interest and affection, sending sweet messages, planning romantic dates, and showing affection. She starts to feel special and confident about your feelings. However, suddenly you start to distance yourself, responding briefly and taking longer to schedule the next date. This change creates uncertainty and makes her wonder what happened, striving even harder to recapture your attention and affection. This inconsistent behavior keeps her emotions in constant motion, making you an enigmatic and irresistible figure. The key is to balance this alternation of attention and distance so that she never feels completely secure, but always desires more. This technique, although controversial and manipulative, can be extremely effective in creating a strong emotional dependency and increasing attraction. Technique 5. Mirroring. Mirroring is a seduction technique based on subtly imitating another person's behaviors, gestures, and speech patterns to create a sense of connection and trust. This method is based on the idea that people are naturally attracted to those who seem similar to them. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are in a cafe, talking to a woman you just met. During the conversation, you start to notice how she gestures while talking, the speed at which she speaks, and even the words and expressions she frequently uses. Gradually, you begin to adapt your own gestures, speech rhythm, and word choices to reflect hers. When she crosses her arms, you do the same. If she tilts her head to listen better, you also tilt yours. This subtle mirroring makes her feel more comfortable and connected, as if you share a natural rapport. For example, she mentions that she loves a certain type of music, and you respond by showing genuine interest and mentioning that you also like that style or a similar band. By doing this, you are mirroring not only her actions, but also her interests and tastes, creating a sense of familiarity and comfort. This technique is powerful because it operates on unconscious levels of perception, making her feel that you have a lot in common. Mirroring creates fertile ground for attraction as it gives the impression that you're in perfect harmony, increasing trust and the desire to deepen the connection. Technique 6. Intermittent reinforcement. Intermittent reinforcement is a seduction technique that involves varying the frequency and intensity of your emotional and attentive responses, creating an environment of unpredictability that can increase attraction and obsession. This method is based on behavioral psychology, where inconsistent rewards can be more powerful than constant rewards. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are exchanging messages with a woman you recently met. On some days, you respond quickly and enthusiastically, complimenting her and showing genuine interest. On other days, you take longer to respond and keep your replies shorter and less engaging. This variation creates a sense of uncertainty about when and how you will react, keeping her anxious and attentive to your messages. For example, during a conversation, you might praise her sense of humor and show great interest at one moment, only to be a bit more reserved and distant in the next encounter. Another situation could be during a restaurant date. You might be very present and engaged during the first half of the date, making her feel special and desired. Then, in the second half, you might become a bit more introspective, less talkative, which may lead her to try to regain your attention and approval. This unpredictable pattern keeps her constantly thinking about you, wondering what she did to gain or lose your attention. The unpredictability of intermittent reinforcement makes her invest more emotionally in the relationship, trying to decipher your responses and constantly seeking your validation, which can increase attraction and emotional bonding. Technique 7. Creating sexual tension. Creating sexual tension is a seduction technique that involves gradually building desire and anticipation through subtle touches, body language, and verbal innuendos. This technique is based on the idea that desire is intensified by anticipation and the lack of immediate gratification. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are in a quiet bar talking to a woman you just met. During the conversation, you maintain prolonged and intense eye contact, occasionally looking away to create moments of uncertainty. At the same time, you use light and casual touches, such as brushing her hand when handing her a drink or touching her arm lightly when laughing at a joke. For example, you might lean in slightly closer while talking, reducing the physical distance almost imperceptibly. While she talks, you listen attentively, but also keep your hand close to hers, occasionally touching her fingers or the back of her hand. This physical proximity, combined with subtle touches, creates an environment charged with sexual tension. Additionally, you can use verbal language to intensify this tension, making suggestive comments or jokes with a double meaning. Another example is during a slow dance at a party or social event. You guide her gently across the dance floor, maintaining a firm and confident posture. Your bodies are close, and the slow music creates an intimate atmosphere. While dancing, you whisper something in her ear, like a soft compliment about how she moves or an insinuation about what could happen after the party. These moments of physical and verbal closeness build a palpable tension that leaves both of you wanting more. Creating sexual tension effectively requires sensitivity to the rhythm and comfort of the other person. Advancing and retreating is necessary to maintain the perfect balance between anticipation and desire. This play of proximity and distance, subtle touches, and verbal suggestions keeps the other person constantly thinking and desiring more, without ever giving everything at once. It is this ability to keep the other person in suspense that makes sexual tension such a powerful and effective technique in seduction, as it leaves a lasting impact and a sense of intense connection. Technique 8. Showing social value. Showing social value is a seduction technique that involves demonstrating your status, skills, and social influence to attract a woman's interest and admiration. This is based on the idea that people are naturally attracted to those who are valued and respected in their social circles. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are at a party or social event with friends, and the woman you are interested in is present. Throughout the evening, you engage in lively and interesting conversations, sharing stories that highlight your achievements, skills, and connections. For example, while talking to a group of friends, you casually mention your involvement in a charity project or a recent trip you took to an exotic place. You might talk about how you helped organize an important event or participated in a marathon to raise funds for a noble cause. These stories not only showcase your skills and experiences, but also highlight your character and values. Additionally, you are seen interacting with various people, being warmly greeted, and demonstrating your ability to easily connect with different types of people. Another example is during a group activity such as a beach volleyball game or a dance class. You actively participate, showing your skill and enthusiasm, and even help coordinate the group, demonstrating leadership and confidence. Your ability to stand out in a social environment and be recognized for it increases your social value in the eyes of the woman. She observes how other people respond to you, noticing your influence and the respect you receive. Showing social value does not mean bragging or being arrogant. It is about highlighting your qualities naturally and authentically. This can include talking about your hobbies, passions, and achievements in a way that inspires interest and admiration. Additionally, being generous and supportive of others in your social circle also increases your value. When you are seen helping friends or offering valuable advice, it shows that you are trustworthy and respected, qualities that are extremely attractive. This technique creates the perception that you are a high-value person, someone who brings something special to the table and can enrich the lives of those around you. Women are naturally attracted to men who are valued by others, as this suggests that you possess qualities that are desirable and appreciated in a broader social context. Therefore, showing social value is a powerful technique that can significantly increase your attractiveness and make you stand out in the crowd. Technique 9. Using physical touch. Using physical touch is a powerful seduction technique based on creating a physical and emotional connection through bodily contact. Subtle and appropriate touches can convey intimacy, trust, and attraction, strengthening the bond between you and the woman. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are on a date in a cafe, having a lively conversation with the woman you are interested in. During the conversation, you make use of light and respectful touches to create a sense of closeness and comfort. For example, when she makes a joke or shares something funny, you might lightly touch her arm or shoulder while laughing along with her. This brief and friendly touch demonstrates that you are connected to the conversation and appreciate the shared moment of fun. At another moment, while explaining something interesting or telling an engaging story, you might gently touch her hand for a few seconds to emphasize a point or express empathy. This type of touch creates a sense of complicity and shows that you're paying attention and care about what she is saying. Additionally, you can use physical touch to create a sense of protection and care. Imagine that you are walking together in a park and she comments that she is cold. You might gently place your hand on her back while offering your coat or move closer to hug her and keep her warm. This type of touch shows that you are attentive to her needs and willing to take care of her, creating a sense of safety and comfort. Another example is during a fun activity like ice skating or dancing. You can hold her hand to guide her or offer support when needed, showing that you are present and willing to help. These physical touches not only increase intimacy but also create memorable moments of emotional connection. It is important to remember that the use of physical touch should always be respectful and consensual. Paying attention to her reactions and adjusting your behavior accordingly is crucial to ensure that the touch is welcomed and appreciated. When done correctly, the use of physical touch can strengthen attraction and create a deep and meaningful connection between you. Technique 10. Dominance and leadership. Dominance and leadership are powerful seduction techniques that attract women through the display of strength, confidence, and decision-making ability. These traits are deeply rooted in primal instincts, where leadership and dominance indicated the ability to protect and provide. Imagine an everyday scenario. You are at a social event with the woman you are interested in. Throughout the evening, you take on a leadership role in various situations, showing that you are capable of making quick and effective decisions. For example, when you arrive at the venue and see that it is crowded, you quickly suggest an alternative plan, perhaps a nearby restaurant or bar that you know is pleasant and quiet. You communicate the change of plans confidently and make the necessary arrangements without hesitation. By doing this, you not only demonstrate your adaptability but also show that you can lead and handle the situation. During the conversation, you lead the discussion in an engaging and assertive manner, proposing interesting topics and maintaining the flow of the interaction. You ask questions, listen attentively, and respond confidently, keeping the conversation lively and dynamic. Additionally, you take the initiative when ordering from the waiter, choosing wines or dishes confidently and showing your knowledge and good taste. Another example is during a physical activity such as a hike on a trail or a climbing session. You lead the way, offering support and encouragement when needed, but also showing that you are in control and can face challenges with determination. When an unexpected situation arises, such as a detour on the trail or an obstacle in the climb, you take responsibility for finding the best solution, reassuring her with your firm and resolute presence. This display of dominance and leadership creates a sense of safety and admiration. Women are often attracted to men who demonstrate these qualities, as they indicate that he is capable of protecting, caring for, and guiding in different situations. Showing leadership respectfully and confidently reinforces the perception that you are a strong and reliable partner, increasing attraction and the emotional connection between you. And so we come to the end of our video on the 10 heavy and dark seduction techniques based on women's primal instincts. Quickly recapping, we talked about emotional control, mirroring, intermittent reinforcement, standing out from others, mystery and uncertainty, intermittent validation, creating sexual tension, showing social value, using physical touches, and dominance and leadership. Imagine an everyday scenario. You put some of these techniques into practice at a social event. You maintain emotional control, mirror her body language, and alternate between compliments and moments of uncertainty to create tension. During the conversation, you highlight your unique qualities, use subtle touches to create a physical connection, and demonstrate leadership by making decisions. These actions not only increase attraction, but also create an engaging and intriguing dynamic between the two of you. Remember, these techniques should be used responsibly and respectfully, always considering the other person's consent and well-being. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with friends who can also benefit from these tips. Subscribe to the channel for more content on relationships and seduction techniques, and activate the bell to not miss any updates. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.